County Board of Education meeting to order. I know this is the one and only time each year that I start the meeting because that is our annual organizational meeting under North Carolina General Statute 115C-41. And so thank you to all of our board members for everything that you do. And at this time, we will verify that we have a quorum present by taking roll, starting with Janet.
Present.
Teresa Calhoun present.
Josh Roden present.
Diane Eldredge present.
Holly Jones present.
So for the record, we have all 5 board members present. And so at this time, I'd like to call for the election of a board chair. Do I have any?
You have to pledge.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I skipped
Sorry.
that. All right. So let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, our organization officially.
30 years old.
Well, it's not letting me.
So let's start with the election of the board chair. Do I have, the floor is now open for nominations for board chair.
I nominate Josh Roden.
I'll second.
We have a nomination and a second. Any other nominations? The nominations are now closed. Let's call for a vote for board chair of Josh Roden. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
5-0. Okay, this is yours, Josh.
Okay. Thank you, board. Appreciate the confidence in me for that. So from there, we'll go on to opening the floor for nominations for vice chair. Do I have a nomination for vice chair?
Is Diane willing to continue?
Well, I don't do a whole lot, but yes, I'll be. You want me to? Yes, I would do that.
Nominate Diane.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Ward. Have a nomination for Diane Eldredge for vice chair. Do I have a
Thank you.
second?
Second.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Jones. Have a second to the nomination. All those in favor of the nomination, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
5-0. All right.
Feels weird voting for yourself.
I know. You know. All right, so we've got that underway on there. So we'll hop in here for the approval of the agenda. Thank you, Dr. Cox, for starting us out there. On there. Anybody have anything to change or amend to the agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Eldredge. Do I have a second to the motion? Thank you, Ms. Jones. Any questions, comments? All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. All right, Dr. Cox, I'll turn it back over to you for comments from the superintendent.
All right, so we've had a lot of great things going on in Ashe County schools over the last month. And of course, we're coming into our holidays. So we do have quite a few upcoming events that are open to the community and of course to the board. But I wanted to brag on Ashe County High School for a little bit. In the past couple of weeks, the advanced placement scores were released by the state. And of course, all across the state, we've had huge gains, not only in the number of students participating, but also in the success of those students. And Ashe County High School exceeded the state and the nation in their advanced placement scores. And so fantastic. That means students who took advanced placement, so these are college level courses at the high school, scored a level 3, 4, or 5. And in North Carolina, a 3, a 4, or a 5 earns you in one of the 19 colleges and universities, state colleges and universities, course credit. And so that's really exciting for our students, but over 75% of of the tests taken by our students earned college credit. And even if they earned a 2 on the state exam, which is the rest of the 25%, most of them earned a 2, means that they are college ready and ready for that particular course once they get to college. So this is fantastic news. Kudos to Mr. Farmer and the team at Ashe County High School, teachers, students alike, for that remarkable showing. But in addition to that, over the past 5 years, which is an incredible growth of 25.6% increase in the advanced placement scores, which is almost unheard of. So that's a huge gain over the last several years. And what that means is dollars to our families when they don't have to pay for those college classes. One less that they have to take, that is a huge benefit. And then it gives our kids confidence that they can compete at the highest levels of education with students from all across the country and actually all over the world, because these are taken by students all over the world. Congratulations to Mr. Aaron Butt, who's the assistant principal at Ashe County Middle School, and Tanya Greer, who works as an accounting specialist here in our central office, on being voted by their peers for the November Employees of the Month. And I can speak to both of them, the way they've carried themselves. I know that Mr. Butt has been with us for a short period of time, but in times of need, he's led with great compassion and empathy for his staff. And Tanya Greer, I've known her since I've been here, and she's been here a lot longer than me. She is probably one of the most reliable people, and her entire family works tirelessly. So kudos to both of them for being recognized. And we had some fun. I don't know if I talked about it at the last meeting, but Amy Walker and our media coordinators and myself dressed as a box of Crayola crayons for Halloween, and handed out books to lots of kids. It's been cold the last several years, but boy, we had fun. And I just love seeing kids of all ages, high school, middle school, down to kids that aren't even in our schools yet, just light up with the gift of a book. And so how exciting that is for us to be able to do that every year. We had a Veterans Day program since we met last as well, and that Veterans Day program was highly successful. I know our families and community members who may not have anybody in school enjoy coming to celebrate with our students and to be honored. And this year's event was coordinated, of course, by the high school, but they had a drive-through parade at Westwood Elementary leading into it. All of our schools participated, and then Mr. Andy Cirillo, who is a veteran of the United States Army and a math teacher at our middle school, who has he's really interesting. If you haven't talked to him before, lots of different experiences overseas, even outside of his Army experience. But he delivered some pretty inspiring remarks. So, what's that? His dad. Oh, that's right, his dad. So he had some pretty inspiring. No, but he lived overseas too, Mr. Strillo. Yeah. But his dad had just an amazing service, and he spoke to those. So kudos to him and all of our military members. Our Christmas parade was held in November as well, which was a lot of fun. The Christmas parade, of course, was sponsored by the Rotary, but we had huge community participation, including Ashe County Schools. We showcased our brand new activity bus, which you haven't seen that. It's really nice. Anyway, I think about riding a bus when I was younger. This is not that same experience. It's really a nice bus. But we had everything from cheerleaders and our ROTC to some of us in the central office, and all of our schools represented. So thank you to all who participated. And those who we didn't see in the parade were actually sitting outside of the parade. And so it was fun. I know that Janet Ward and Diane and I rode in the parade and waved. But it was fun to see everybody out there enjoying, especially those that were dressed in costume. Our early college had a performance of The Internet is a Diss Track. Oh, look a kitten, which had rave reviews, really funny, witty. But our drama club or theater club at the early college was the one who shared their talents at the Civic Center, which was a lot of fun. We have Mountain View Elementary School, who has started a podcast, and this was from funds from the Ashe County Schools Endowment Board. So they received those funds from the fundraising that has gone on through our annual golf tournament, which is really exciting. And the kids are hosting this podcast twice a month. So it's about 10 minutes long and sharing all kinds of things. And a lot of what their academic work is related directly to what they're doing on this podcast. So if you have a chance to actually listen to it, they're really talented. So we have kids who are able to share that creative voice. And the link can be found on the Ashe County Schools and the Mountain View websites. Congratulations to somebody we have here in the audience right now, which is Principal Dustin Farmer. And who was interviewed for the Region 7 Principal of the Year. And he was one of 6 principals from the region that were selected to actually interview for this honor. So we are really proud of him. And it's been a while since we've had somebody to even get an interview in Ashe County Schools from a leadership standpoint. So kudos to Dustin on that honor. The Husky men's soccer team, Pablo broke the single season goals record. How many was that? Do you guys know how many goals he scored? It was over 50. That's incredible in one soccer season. And they made it to the regional finals for the first time in school history. So we're really proud of him and proud of the entire men's soccer team for that accomplishment. Now, I was at Newton Conover for their final game, and I'll tell you, they were quick, they were fast, certainly deserved to be there. And Newton Conover, of course, won 2-0, but it's nothing for our boys left it all out on the field. I'll tell you that. They ran and played hard. So the Ashe County High School hosted its family night on November 13th, and the center theme was learning, leading, and succeeding. And we had over 200 people there that night, which was an incredible showing for a high school showcase of academics. And then we got to enjoy a community day on the morning of the 18th to see things from the Spark Lab to what's going in our CTE programs. A lot of exciting things going on at Ashe County High School. And I just want to share that we have also been focusing on quite a few things, partnering with the Ashe campus of Wilkes Community College. They had an Auto Expo Day with NASCAR Hall of Fame. They've had a Health Science Day, tours at Leviton and West Jefferson, and the Ashe County Applied Engineering Technology with AEV. So our kids are not only learning about these things in class, but they're getting real community work experiences to see if that's someplace that they would like to work when they graduate from high school. And there's a whole list of upcoming things from Westwood's school musical of Peter Pan, which we're really excited about, to high school and middle school band concerts. So that's upcoming. And then we also have Blue Ridge Elementary School has their December to Remember. So a lot of exciting things. The middle school has a Winterfest coming up, so lots of ways the community can participate over the next 2 weeks here in Ashe County Schools before we're out for the holidays. And that's it.
All right. A lot going on. Busy month for December on there. We're gonna keep up with new middle school updates with Miss Allison Kemp Sullivan.
Good afternoon.
everybody's well. So the rain and this ice is not gonna help us this evening tonight, but, what we have been able to get done in the last month, I think we talked about this at the last meeting, final layer of shotcrete was applied to the soil down wall. Installation of storm drains continue along with water line and fire hydrant work. Blue Ridge Energy has been on site and has been installing conduit under the road for the site lighting. We were able to get the first slab pour for the, Area A. First half of that was done. The balance of the slab cannot be finished until the retaining wall separating Area A and B is complete. Two sections of that wall are finished, and they continue to tie rebar and are setting forms and working on the rest of that wall. It's very dependent on rain and wind because they're having to climb up the rebar and work on it as they go. Again, it's all very weather dependent. Areas A, B, and C, they are putting stone down. Benoit Construction is actually switching out their office trailer to get a larger one. They have extra staff there, and we've been having our meetings at their main office in Jefferson, but they're going to start transitioning that over to just the job site. And we also were able to have our kickoff meeting for the furniture with the middle school teachers and the directors. And so that's just the beginning of many, many meetings to come in the next couple of years. So does anybody have any questions?
Any questions? I like the pictures again. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's gonna be a rough time of year to get stuff done, and I know that's frustrating.
It is frustrating. I mean, we have weather days built in, so it's anticipated. Everybody on the teams work through, this kind of weather, so it's anticipated. So it's part of the schedule. So
Do we know how much money we've spent so far? Going fast?
well, it's nothing we haven't planned for, so it's not going faster than what we anticipate. So I think right now the contracts we've built, it's been about 9 million of the construction contracts. That sound right, Amanda? I'm going by memory because I just approved the payout this morning.
And I haven't signed that one yet, so it probably.
So that's about how much so far on the pay application. We've also been paying design fees and other costs too.
How's the availability of concrete right now?
It's gotten better. I can share that with you before too. But for everybody, other people are wanting concrete too. A lot of people recovering from Helene, bridge building, that kind of thing. So all of that's going to slow down with the weather. But, the group that we're working with they're very sophisticated. So we'll probably get it before other people because we just don't know how to manage the cold. So we can still pour in colder weather as long as it's 40 degrees plus, and they know how to manage as far as like covering the concrete and accelerators and those kind of things. It's kind of a game day decision every day if they pour. So, even the concrete side that we did pour, we had to adjust that in a couple of days. It wasn't done when they planned to, so it had to be shifted. So we'll see how it goes. We're not pouring tomorrow.
I wouldn't imagine you would say.
So,
You'd have to build a building around it to be able to pour it.
mhm.
I appreciate the pictures too.
I'll keep sending them.
Yeah, all right. Thanks a lot. We'll jump on in here to action items for the board. The first item under action is our consent agenda, which includes the Western Governors. Is that Western Carolina Governors MOU?
Western Governors University.
Okay, all right. Well, I thought it threw me off for a minute. Western Governors University MOU, the minutes for the last meetings and the special call, the Gear Up 2.0 subwards policies, the 26-27 budget calendar, Caldwell Community College MOU, overnight state beta competition trip. I don't know where that come from. And then an MOU, ASC and FIC-C. 5D. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion that we accept them.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Calhoun. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Ward. Any questions, comments? All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carried. Next, we've got personnel on the agenda. Anybody have any questions for Dr. Moken on the personnel? I don't think we had an addendum to this. No, so it's just personnel.
I just have a general question that is concerning personnel. How many positions are we still looking for?
We are not looking for any classroom teachers at this time. We are always looking for bus drivers and bus substitutes. That's our primary thing.
And substitutes.
Yes.
No teachers at this time. I knew there were some people changing over, so that's good.
But do I have a motion to approve the personnel?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the personnel.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Do I have a second?
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Elder. Any other questions, comments? All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Next, we've got our 24-25 audit presentation. Come on up.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here to present the 2025 audit. The first thing I wanted to explain is that the copy that you all have right now is still marked draft. This is due to the government shutdown. There were federal documents that did not get signed until literally the day before Thanksgiving. So we're reviewing those now, and they should be finalized by tomorrow, but as of now, it was just a little bit of a rush to try to get that finalized between getting those documents Wednesday with the holiday and everything. So it's still in draft format, but we do not expect any changes, and we should have that submitted to the state and finalized for you all. Hopefully tomorrow at the latest by Wednesday or Thursday. So, all right, I'm pleased to report that Ashe County Schools has an unmodified opinion for the June 30th, 25 audit. This is the best opinion that you can receive on an audit. And this has been a long-standing opinion that Ashe County Schools has had. So congratulations to the finance department and staff, as this was a collaborative effort looking into. And then we have the PowerPoint to pull up now.
I think we will want to approve it. Yeah. I think that shuts down. Yeah.
Excuse me, are we gonna receive a hard copy of this audit?
Yes, once we get the draft off of there and get it submitted to the state and approved and everything, then we'll send a hard copy when it's out of the draft, once it's completely finalized.
It's the other one. I think they're, one thing is the presentation and the other that one.
And we can go to the next slide, go back to that one there. All right, significant accounting estimates. Most of these are the same for all schools across the district, all districts across the state. There was one change in accounting estimates this year relating to sick leave. Now sick leave balances for employees have to be considered a liability on the government-wide financial statements. This shouldn't affect your fund balance as to what you all can spend, as this is only on the accounting side of the government-wide fund balance. So it shouldn't affect any of your cash or fund balance per fund that you can spend. It's really just an accounting thing for how the financial statements are presented. And all right, then there were no misstatements or disagreements with management this year, so We asked for a lot of documentation and they did a great job of getting that to us, so they were really good to work with. Now, go to the next slide. All right, now here you will see your fund balance for all your governmental funds. And the general fund is the one that y'all have the most control over as far as not having too many restrictions on what you can spend that on. You added approximately $4,000 in fund balance this year, so you're staying pretty steady, which we like to see. Y'all aren't burning through that or spending too much fund balance, so as of now, y'all are holding steady, so I think y'all are doing a good job of managing your general fund and not overspending more than what you have. The capital outlay fund, which is where all the construction projects are done, such as the new middle school and everything. You spend about $16,000 out of that, which is very good considering the new school and everything. We're expecting more revenues and expenditures in that fund for this year and next year with the construction of a new school, because that's obviously the biggest expense for capital that any district will have is building a new school.
May I ask a question about that?
Yes,
So our money comes, help me, I'm just trying to understand this, Amanda, our money comes from the county to pay that, so it goes in our capital.
No, it stays at the county level, but we still have to book it on our books as an expense.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Even if the county pays directly to the vendor, we just still have to book the revenue and expense to show that they're building this school on behalf of the district. So even if the cash never comes into the school's books, so it pretty much washes out revenue and expense, so you shouldn't be spending any fund balance on that. It'll just be just to record that, yes, the county is building this school on the school's behalf, and then eventually it'll be booked as a capital asset for you all. So we need to show that something coming in as far as revenue and expense for when it does get booked as a capital asset when it's complete.
And so for 3 years, it's going to look like we have a lot more money than what we really do because it's already tied up in the school.
Yeah, and it should all balance out because you should have the expenses coming in with any revenues that are booked.
And these are estimates, correct? What we put in there for
The budget, it's.
for the budget,
It's
right?
actual numbers.
This should.
This
be
is
the-
accurate, yeah.
Yep, this is what's on the 2025 audit here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then of the fund balance for the general fund, approximately 1.2 million was appropriated for the 25-26 budget. So that leaves about 2 million for future expenditures. And that appropriation is just for what's been budgeted out of the fund balance in the preliminary budget for 25-26.
And I should know the answer to this. Do we have somewhere where we can go to see exactly where all the money's going to?
Well, it depends on the.
I mean, I didn't know that if we have a file that we could just see, or we just go by this.
I mean, it's all public record. I mean.
Oh, okay, it's public record. Okay, that's all I needed. Okay.
I mean, there is, you want to look on the financial statements, it won't be exactly, but it will say this is like operating
Right.
expenditures, curriculars. So it'll be a higher level, but not, I'm sure that, yeah, Amanda will have to get the file to see exactly where.
They went from, what, 9 to 36 on, as far as the numbers that outline, so there's more detail to it, but it takes a finance officer to really read it unless you're in.
It's hard to
deep in it
say.
all the time.
Or
Maybe
you
would
would
have
have
to
numbers.
interpret for me, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then the school food service fund. Can go to the next one. Okay, there's the balance sheet. As we talked about, 1.2 million of that general fund balance is budgeted for 25-26 expenditures, leaving about 2 million there that is still in fund balance. I'll go to the next one, Amanda. And then that'll give you, I guess that's not super detailed, but we will break out instructional services, system-wide, ancillary services, just to get a little bit more of a picture of the things that those expenditures are spent on. As we can see there, everything was, none of the expenditures were over expended based on y'all's budget, so there was no finding for that. Everything looked good there. Could go to the next one, Amanda. All right, then the school food service fund, which is your child nutrition fund. We recommend to look at cash for financial performance rather than fund balance due to the accounting standards that govern the school food service. They work on full accrual, so they have to have liabilities for annual leave, sick leave, and all that incorporated into their P&L. So we recommend looking at the cash flow statement to get a better idea of what's been spent out of that fund during the year. So the district did spend approximately $125,000 out of the school food service fund during the year, leaving them still with $1.1 billion in fund balance. And we've seen this is a pretty normal trend across the state of declining fund balance and child nutrition, just as after COVID, the reimbursement rates for student meals have dropped considerably, as well as participation.
Expenses have gone up.
And food costs have gone up.
We're
Yeah.
also closed for
We were
pretty
also,
much 2 months.
Yeah, so a lot of factors going in that we expect hopefully to rebound in the next year. But
Will,
it's not unusual to see.
will this be affected by any federal kinds of monies, or is this, is this part of the incomplete, the draft?
Those numbers will not change.
Okay.
Yeah, the documents that we're waiting on from the federal government are more just rubber stamp documents that have to get signed before we can send everything out. We don't expect any changes. It's just we can't by law undo the draft status until those federal documents were signed. Which, yeah, they're usually signed in like June or July, but I don't know what was taking them so long this year. Then the shutdown came and it obviously wasn't getting done. But they got them out on Wednesday, so we should have everything finalized this week. All right, we'll go to the next slide. All right, findings and question costs. There was no findings this year for anything, so good job by the finance department and really every department, because a lot of those more compliance sort of findings can be from anywhere in the district. So everybody did a good job from finance, HR, and all your federal programs. Should go to the next one. Go to the next one. That's just a little. All right, here we just have a breakdown of governmental funds by state funding, federal funding, county, and other. And if you look at the gray bar, you can see how much larger that federal bar was from pretty much 2022 to 2024 compared to 2025. As the COVID funding is going away, that bar is probably going to be closer to those 2019, 2020 marks than it will be to those after that. So just keep in mind that that funding will probably not be coming back anytime soon. So there'll be a little less federal funding for the foreseeable future. And we can go to the next one. And here's just expenditures by type. As you can see, most of the expenditures for the district are for instructional. So that'll be teacher salaries, teacher assistant salaries, benefits. And obviously, salaries and benefits are the majority of what the expenditures are for the entire district. And system-wide support, that will be more bus drivers, janitors, the people that aren't necessarily directly teaching kids, but are there to support. And capital outlay, that's probably a little larger than it will be in other years, just due to building the school this year. Number we hire, and then other is just that very small slice of the pie. And there is your local fund balance over the last 10 years. As you can see, that's stayed pretty consistent. So I would say that y'all are doing a good job controlling your spending and doing the best with the money that you have. So doing a good job there. And if there are any questions, just let me know.
I'm not hearing any.
That's a good
All right.
Thank you very
That's
much.
fine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we do need to approve this.
Switch screen. So do we have a motion to approve this audit?
I make a motion, we approve the audit.
All right. Thank you,
I
Ms.
second it.
Thank you, Ms. Ward. So we've got a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. We get back to my agenda now.
That's
Oh.
fine.
Yeah, I'm going in and out of presentation. So. Yeah. So next we've got up, after that is the school improvement plans. Right.
So I've been nominated to speak tonight, or this afternoon. What's great to say this afternoon, but we're coming back as a carryover from last month's item where we really broke down the details and the specifics of not, I won't say the new format, but it is a state-driven format that's aligned with the state goals and with the district goals. And hopefully you've had opportunity to read through those. I told you last time we would get it in one document, but with the changes and the way the format was putting out the data, we wanted to give you two articles of information per school rather than just one. And I think that goes into more of the action items and some of the processes there that we wanted to communicate and share out. So again, I want to commend our schools. They've worked really hard. They've worked really hard over the last 2 or 3 months, and specifically the last 4 to 5 weeks. They've each gone through coaching sessions, not just with us, because we're still learning the process, but with DPI, the folks that are there helping to monitor, to help write, and help implement this. And that was very beneficial, and appreciate their help at different levels. And on the kind of a short notice too, we would call and say, hey, could you work one in? And so we worked out a plan as soon as Ms. Taylor came back. I believe she was at a conference. As soon as she came back, we put several meetings in place there. We appreciate DPI's support with that. So on behalf of the principals and our 6 schools, we're here tonight to asking approval of the 6 school improvement plans. Ms. Ward, that's been taken care of. We'll get it uploaded in the agenda. It was a typo. I kind of chuckled, but anyway, it's okay. It's okay.
It was fun.
It was.
It really was.
I found it for you.
So it's actually, it's in one document, not the other, but I need the second document to upload, so we only got one of them uploaded. It's not- The our direction report has it in it.
You gotta watch them. I know with policy, they've been,
The word "to" was missing.
yeah.
In the comprehensive report, it needs switched in there too, not just the our direction. And it may be, I don't know where you find out.
It's 2 different things.
I know, you have to click on different things.
And again,
It's not
that's
all.
one of those things when you make a correction in one area, you have to make it in a couple. So if there's any corrections as such, we will get those, with any approval, we will get those corrections updated and get everything posted out to the website.
And I would like to comment, I know it probably wasn't required from everybody, but for the schools that gave the bar graph charts on the goals and baselines, that I found that helpful to interpret and it's easier to see the pictorial. So I appreciate those links. It made it much quicker and easier for me to find the info.
I have read them very carefully, as you all know, and I just have a few questions about some things that I just want to know how it's going to work. Can I ask a few of those? The first thing I wanted to ask was how many exceptional children, I think we use another acronym now for those.
I'm sorry, I was clear about that. I didn't hear what you asked. I'm sorry. Could you repeat that?
I just wondered how many early college students do we have that have been identified in those areas that's part of the goal? Like
So-
ELL, AIG.
So exceptional children would be under the reporting amount, so it would be under 5%. So we can't tell you the number because it might identify the student.
Okay,
And I don't know, we'd have to look it up in the
I
system.
believe, so I can answer this. The only subgroup the early college has is the economically disadvantaged subgroup. That's a
that's the
safe
only one
safe way to answer that.
okay. So we have subgroups in the other schools then?
And that changes yearly.
Yeah.
It depends, like, yes. we have
But
to
this
have
year,
30.
it's in all the schools, we have the subgroup.
EC,
Yes,
except for the one.
except for this one. Okay. That was another question. It was how many of those are the subgroup? And let me see.
And that will change depending on the year. So for example, some years in a fourth grade, we might not have a certain, or in a tested subject, we might not have a certain number of a particular subgroup. And other years we do, but consistently we have EC and student and economically disadvantaged across all schools except for the early college. Their numbers are so small anyway that it's hard to get enough to consider a subgroup, even when they do serve those children.
Okay, I read in the high school plan that they were gonna do staff development after school for certain programs. I think, let me look back here and see.
Correct.
That's right. So how is that gonna work with the coaching situation and the number of things that go on,
They
extracurricular?
they're expected to come to meet with admin the next day. So if they're gone for an athletic event, they're expected to come meet the following day for the PD session that we had after school.
Will there be any compensation for PD after school?
No, I think most of the rest have after school meetings. We've just never traditionally done it at the
Right.
high school. So we decided rather than just do it during planning periods so we could do some cross curricular stuff, we started having it one afternoon a month of PD after school.
I just knew that was different. I just wanted to ask what that looked like. And then, does anybody else have any questions? Is it just me? Come on, people. Also, I guess for the middle school, when I looked at their goals, are we talking about assessments in just the testing areas or all areas? Let me go to the middle school thing. My computer doesn't like me today, sorry. Just kick me out, so I'll go back in. It doesn't want me asking anything, does it? And these are questions, guys. I'm very supportive of what it's just questions I have as things change, and I guess my biggest question is how are we going to differentiate? Well, that's differentiation in the core classes and all the classes. I guess I looked at some of the manuals and how are we going to differentiate for our EC population during core classes? I guess is my question. Because we've done it through the flex plan. So is that going to be different for core? Because all of these address core courses.
Are you talking about the middle school?
Well, all the schools, because that's a goal, except for the one. That's a goal for all of them. So how is that going to be differentiated?
Well, I think differentiation happens all the time, and that's actually
you know, you think back when you taught, when we differentiate naturally as teachers as needed, but then we also now have the MTSS process on top of that.
Mr. Penny, did you have a comment?
No, ma'am, we were just talking about the 6 core classes.
Okay.
So, of course, you know, with MTSS, students have to get instruction. They have to. If not, we are constantly keeping them behind and doing a big disservice, which honestly, I think back in my career, we have lots of conversations about that and how we would hold those kids back because we put them somewhere else and water it down. So the whole premise of MTSS is that they're getting more instruction grade level, and then the more plus more, and even sometimes plus more. So different schools do that different ways.
The majority of their instruction should be on grade level instruction.
Core has to, I mean, core, that's the whole push for the state. We have to strengthen the core so that it does allow them to have that fighting chance. And I think, you know, when you think about kids, they do have a learning disability. That doesn't mean that they don't have the intelligence to hear things. In fact, some of my EC students were the best listeners I ever taught through the years. So what exactly are you? Describe a little bit more what you mean.
I guess I've been looking through some of the materials, and I guess I'm just wondering, you know, the scaffolding seems to be minimal for some of the language arts stuff. And so I'm just thinking, okay, we've got this kid, we're doing 6th grade stuff, and we got this kid reading less than a 1st grade level. How do we differentiate to make those classes meaningful? And I hear what you're saying, because I've done that myself. But I'm just wondering, are there going to be other opportunities, because Flex is only 30 minutes a day. So there has to be some differentiation within the core program for them to meet those needs. How does a 6th grader that's reading on a 1st grade level be able to participate in some of that material? Because that 6th grade material is quite challenging.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, I like the rigor. I do like the rigor in the program, but I'm worried about our kids who are not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very frustrating for a teacher to be teaching rigorous 6th grade material and yet have this kid over here who cannot. What are we going to do to reinforce that? What are we going to do to help those?
Well, I will say our teachers do differentiate, because, you know, with even in reading, we have the growth. So it's not that they're leaving behind. I do know teachers don't do that. Guarantee they worry. We get asked that question all the time, and we send lots of solutions. I think one of the things we're doing right now, I don't know if Terry wants to talk about it now, but a lot of the schools are focusing on high-level instruction and how to differentiate. Because when we say that word, it's used as if some people think it's very hard, but then some people take it as, okay, I differentiate because I put only 10 questions on the test versus 20. And so the idea is not defined in of itself the way that people think of it. And so what we're doing now is, and Terry, if you want to talk about it in a minute, feel free, is just giving teachers more training on how to do that, on how to scaffold instruction.
And students who would be that far behind would also have service time with a teacher who is trained in exceptional children too. But their core instruction has to be the core, or else they're never going to get there. So they have to be taught on grade level first. And that's all children. And so just like a student who is academically gifted, they receive their on grade level instruction, but then they also receive that higher level instruction that would it allow them to operate on the level in which they can.
And it doesn't have to be the 30-minute flex time. And CDPI, I've contacted and talked a lot with them as far as core versus the specially designed instruction. And specially designed instruction can happen within that 90 minutes of core. As soon as the teacher has taught the core instruction, could take 15 minutes one day, 30 minutes another day, and then they have practice time and guided practice and all kinds of things that they do to differentiate in their classroom. Children can go out and receive their specially designed instruction outside the classroom, or teacher can go inside the classroom and provide that specially designed instruction to help support them while why others are learning at different levels. And our high leverage practices training, PD training is an all-year training. It's on two PD days for 2.5 hours, and then 2 other times, 1 hour after school for all the instruction. And it's very, very impactful training. We've already had CTE, and all the EC teachers had the first training, and middle school and Blue Ridge are gonna have training starting on January 6th. And it's through DPI, and it's through our EC department through DPI to help make sure that teachers are understanding what the differentiation is and what kind of practices they can use within that classroom that are also high response, to get high responses and interventions. Research-based interventions are being used. But they're getting the supports within the classroom, and the kids are coming out of the classroom to get more supports. And the key with our MTSS was to make sure that the students are not just going from the core instruction and then they become EC students and there's nothing in between. They'll get the core plus more, plus more.
So when are they gonna get the more? I mean,
Well, if it's a 90-minute, language arts, they're gonna get it somewhat within that 90 minutes and flex time. They can also get it during alternative times throughout the day. Now, we try not to make sure that they're missing their enrichment and things like that, but if a child needs more, then we have those critical conversations with the IP team and the families, and make sure that they get what they need as far as academics first.
I just don't see a lot of time built in that structure for more. You know, they account for every minute in 5 minutes for this part, 10 minutes for this part, 20 minutes for this part. So that's the whole class period, seems like. So we're gonna find
I think
places.
the way they present those though is up to the teacher. Like I saw a 7th grade teacher, ELA, this was last year after the hurricane, and she had a student that probably was 3 to 4 grade levels behind, had lots of issues with reading, and she was just brilliant the way she was able to take what was there and then adapt it so that she had groups, because it's not whole instruction all the time. It's very varied if they go by it. So when you're a good teacher, I think you know those times where you can optimize. And she made sure she was going over to him. There are times when teachers have taken the text and they lexile it. There's so many cool things they have now that we didn't have when we were teachers, that they can take the text and drop it in the computer, whether it's AI or another program, and it drops the lexile level down. Same story, just different lexile level. And so
I used
teachers
to do that
those
manually.
Yeah, they're very, the tools are awesome that they have now to help us with differentiation. So definitely we're cognizant of it, continually working on it. The better we get with the curriculum, the more familiar we get with it, the more they're going to be able to differentiate that. You know, it's like a good math teacher. They can teach it where the majority gets it, but you still have a few that don't. They teach it a different way. And then if you're a really good math teacher, they know how to get that last little percentage because they have so many ways that they can teach it. And I think that does come from experience. Although I will say I've seen some of our new teachers do really well with differentiation within the classroom. And sometimes I think that's just a natural thing for them. But definitely the training is going to help. I wish I would have had that because people used to just say differentiate. Well, okay, what's that mean? And then I had my own take on it, but I do think we're getting better at it and working on it. And I definitely know all the schools are cognizant. Terry's been working hard. Casey and I were in the first training with Tracy McManus with the CTE and EC teachers, and it was very good, very good. I would like to actually sit through it again. And I'm going to.
She's really good.
She's just good, and it resonates with teachers because it's things they can do right off.
I guess I come from a unique background because I had a certification in all of the above. So it really helped me with the regular classroom. But I know that it's really hard sometimes to pull kids that are way behind up. And so I'm glad we're focusing on those children. And so I'm not discounting what you're saying at all. I just wanted to know how it was going to work because these are new plans. They're for 2 years, correct?
Well, we turn them into the state every two, they're constantly working on them for sure. I mean,
Okay.
every year they're tweaking, every month they add in their meetings every month. They're looking at their progress, their agendas will have which indicators they're gonna talk about. And then within that meeting, they will discuss the progress that they're making. So it's much more calculated than it was years ago. So even if the platform's not that great, I do think the process is better because it's not just a book somebody puts on a shelf like it was 30 years ago. And honestly, that's sometimes how it felt. I do feel like the schools do a good job of really analyzing what they need to work on. Almost to the point where they drive themselves insane trying to fix it. Because some of the things are not quick fixes. It just takes a little bit of time, but they are doing a good job to work on it.
And, you know, with our TSI schools, that's a 3-year with our TSI schools, that's a 3-year process. So once they enter this cohort of,
TSI schools?
the 2 TSI schools. But anyway, the long story short, it is a continual process.
Mhm.
Now, Ms. Elders, you had a question earlier about which assessments, I believe at the middle school, that were going to be monitored or looked at or something. I just want to be sure all your questions were answered to that.
Let me look back at my notes here.
So this might
Yeah,
help.
well, I guess-
At the middle school, we have 5 EOGs and 1 EOCs, 7th grade language arts,
8th grade
so
math.
forth and so forth. And then you have your science, and you have your 8th grade math and 1. So that's where that differentiation, and those are the data points that will be monitored with that.
And I guess I was also interested to hear how it was going to work MTSS at the high school level, because we've never had a formal MTSS procedure there. So I was just wondering. What was that?
Chocolate chip cookie. That sounds good right now.
Only if we can all have one. Okay.
I do think the high school's working really hard. They put the MTSS team just as long as everybody else. It does look different. I don't think we can think about it traditionally. And even DPI's talked about this with us because we want to treat it like an elementary school model and it's not. And so we have to definitely, not that we don't ever do because we do, but look at the whole child, attendance, behavior, can sometimes trump everything else when it comes to high school because they have to come to school before they can do the academics. So that team does look at a lot of different things, and I think they've made a lot of progress with their team, and even trying to find the right screeners and what's going to work best. And really, I love how they're open. If something's not working, they will try something different, and that's why their Husky Hall has looked different throughout the years. They're really working to try to make it better. And I know in the last, since I've been in this position, that it's gotten better every year.
So Husky Hall is going to be a major kind of identifying kind of place to get some help for some of those kids.
Yes.
Husky Hall.
Well, of course, core is always first, but yes, that is where they can remediate. And then here again, that goes back to training because high school teachers do not have the kind of training that we have, especially elementary, because they're the pros at it, but on how to reach kids that could be potentially 5 or 6 years behind, because they're also very much content experts. They're trained in the science of reading, but they're getting training, and that's where I think
There's also a course each semester, an individual curriculum course for our students that need a more specially designed instruction. And it's been identified through CDPI for them to be able to have an elective.
And I would like to say that this is more work to go through for all of us, and I'm sure a lot of work for you guys. But I definitely appreciated the broad spectrum differentiation focus that you're doing, having to work. I always had classes that had everything from the very bottom to the very top. One of my competition teams was the lowest in the senior class and the highest in the senior class. So giving these teachers the support to accomplish that and the purposeful pairing them together, I really appreciate seeing that and the work you've done on it.
they're working hard.
Well, I appreciate the rigor, once you hold on to it. And high school seems to me like when they sort of group themselves up because you still have the basic classes and AP classes and honors classes, so on and so forth. But to me, and this is a quote I learned to live by, is low expectations is a subtle form of discrimination. I expected my lowest kids, and I've had some in ninth and 10th grade that couldn't read, to do the same work as the other kids did. And my basic kids would come to me and say, Miss Jones, you're making us do the same thing that the honor kids are doing. Why are you doing this? You're going to take the same tests, aren't you? You're going to be out in the same world, aren't you? I said, the only thing different is you might not have to read an extra novel. So I had a kid that passed the writing test in the 10th grade. The only test he passed, it's the only test he ever passed, and all the tests he ever took in high school. One test. And if that kid can pass that writing test, another kid in that school shouldn't have passed it. Because, you know, I've had kids that could, but the question is to me, how do we let kids get to the 9th and 10th grade and they're still reading on a 4th or 5th grade level? I know that's what you guys are working on down there, is trying to stop that. And that's be the greatest advancement in education that we could have if we teach those kids to read on grade levels they come. And some kids can read beautifully and don't understand what they read. I had a kid that could read better than me in class in 11th grade. He could read Emerson, he could read Thoreau, beautiful. Had no idea what he read. He had some kind of a learning disability that I can never get fixed. Don't try. So it's every day is a challenge because all the kids are different. Okay?
For sure, Miss Polly, that's for sure.
I wish I could still do it, but I can't.
I wish you could too, still, Miss Polly.
Well, I would like to move we approve the school improvement team reports.
All right, so I've got a motion from Ms. Ward to approve the school improvement plans. Do I have a second to her motion? I think I had two coming in there.
Oh.
Yeah, Teresa, I got Ms. Calhoun's there. Any other questions, comments?
No, I appreciate all the hard work. You can tell that there's been a lot of thought and a lot of
Work.
planning, and I appreciate what you've done. And sorry about the questions.
They've all done it. They did a great job. Every day. Thank you, guys. Look very festive tonight.
You're the one doing all the hard work.
Before you get all the way down, all those in favor, raise your hand. All right, now you're good to go.
Stick around next time.
Beth, I'm glad you are, because you're up next with the school instructional calendar committee.
Okay. I want to talk about the weather forecast tonight, but anyway.
Oh, he said it.
Yeah. I didn't say it. But thank you for pulling that up. So, guys, folks, it is that time of the year. We've started, we talked a little bit about it last month, but it's time to officially get started on this. And there's some meeting dates that we have set. We'll start in January and hope to bring this to the February 16th. Is that a special call budget meeting? What is that, Dr. Fox, policy meeting? One of those meetings. We'd like to bring it at that time. And again, the committee, we have representation from all levels, parents, community, schools, teachers, the classified folks. They all come in and we work together with this. And we start with the template. We go over the legislation, which is nothing really changed with that this year. We start with that and we look at some non-negotiables that we've worked with in the years past. Meaning start school when the legislators tell you to start school, things like that. And then we put out a template because we follow the school calendar law for number of holidays, number of annual leave days. Says in there you must have 9 teacher work days, 2 of which you can use compensation time with, just different rules like that. We go over those and we offer out a template. Schools go back, they gather data, they talk to their parents, they survey whatever, the autonomy they use to gather that data. And then we come back for a face-to-face meeting. And there, last year, we had calendars all around this room. And we went around and kind of played a little card game and moved ideas around and thoughts around, and then came back with a good solid calendar, or at least options. And we gather feedback back from the community, from the schools, from families, whatnot. And we Zoom back together to discuss that feedback and decided upon a calendar to bring to the board for approval or consideration for approval. So I think the 2 things we're looking for is permission to go ahead and proceed with this, and Dr. Cox,
Yeah, we just need one board member. Last year it was Teresa who was in on that process. So we just need a board member to be a representative on this larger committee that considers the calendar.
Want to do it again? Anybody else?
Sure.
We need to get her feet wet more, yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
my feet's wet.
We got the appointment of Ms. Calhoun to the committee, on there and the shaking of heads.
How many people are on the committee? I mean, approximately. It looks like a lot.
They're probably at 30, maybe, I don't know.
25 to
Because,
30.
yeah, we have from the pre-K to the high school, and we have representatives from all different groups. Then several district representatives from different departments to help consider different things. So, yeah, they're quite a few. And then we give a chance for everybody to give feedback when we put it out there, to our families and even the community.
And we usually hear back from 250, 300, I want to say families. So we have a good representation. It isn't 100%, but it is a good representation of that. We break that down and chunk that together. We chunk that together into common thoughts and ideas. An example, folks are really, feel really strong on the length of time at Christmas, when Easter break occurs. Spring break, how do we consider that?
Having Memorial Day as a holiday versus
the holiday.
not.
Veterans Day, of course, is the holiday we have to follow. I think next year will be on Wednesday, I think. So just some things like that.
But I'm learning too, there's not much you can do with it. You just have these days and there's not much you can do with it. So I say just you go at it and then bring it to us.
So we have already.
Surprisingly, you said that.
So
We see a wonderful idea.
Well, we do sit down and create a calendar that matches all the rules. And there is some flexibility in there, but for example, I told Earl, as we were looking at it, families would rather have a longer Christmas break versus a shorter Christmas break. But then you gotta find time, so 2 weeks versus less than 2 weeks, right? But then you gotta find time in that first semester to make sure you have enough days in. Which I still wish the state would allow us, rather than 1 week, start 2 weeks earlier, because then we could get a full semester in before the Christmas holidays, but even more so, that way we can have our exams before Christmas, because January, it snows for us. I mean, that is a huge inclement weather month, and so that helps our students be in school more when the weather is better. More conducive.
Which I would still love to have a conversation, and I know he doesn't like it, but year-round school. And I know Miss Eldred doesn't like it either, but I would
Not sure
love,
how I feel about it, Teresa.
because I think
really
it'd be a good option.
Yeah,
I'm not
most of the year-round schools are elementary schools and not high schools. And so, the balance there is making sure that we have one calendar, because families have kids at all different ages. So we'd have to find a way within the calendar rules to meet those needs. And, we have a huge percentage of students that participate in community college classes, which of course are not year-round, and there are summer classes and stuff, but then oftentimes, and usually we have about 200 kids this semester, about every semester, maybe more than that when you include the early college, that are taking those classes, so they don't get a break on a year-round calendar so much, because their times are their times, and so we might have an intermission in October, and then they're still taking their college classes. And same way with athletics follow a traditional calendar, and so middle school and high school students we have a lot of students who participate in athletics, don't get that same break. So those are the things that I worry about, but it's not something that we have to complete. There may be a way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I worry too that we missed the whole month of January.
Oh, I do
Like
too.
last year, I believe we missed 3 weeks. And so it's really hard to do a year-round school and then have that 3-week window there. So what does it look like for the high school right now? We'll finish exams and all that stuff before Christmas?
Yes.
19th.
If and when weather cooperates? I mean,
Sorry,
Dave,
I'm knocking on wood, because this,
Yeah.
we have several predicted days coming up, but the 15th through the 19th, you know, the exam schedule, it's completed, right? We have a set day for each one. And then the 19th are makeup exams, but we can do makeup exams. Like last year, I think we did makeup exams in January. We did them before the window in December when we were foreseeing that, but not always can you do that, predict when somebody's going to be out.
Last year during the hurricane, we moved this into this first semester to
Wow.
January. It's still very things.
That's it.
Because,
well, I know it's better to get all that done in one semester. That break just kills it. So you really, if any way possible, we need to, without breaking the law, you need to get that first semester in.
So I think you asked, what does it look like this year? Today's day 69 of
Yeah.
this semester of this school year. The high school, the first semester to high school has 83 days slated in it. So,
Okay.
and there's more the second semester, but 83 was starting, as Dr. Cox said, was starting on the date that it's mandated. That's about as far as we can squeeze.
It would be so nice if they would just let the ones who apply for the and receive the inclement weather waiver to have 2 weeks rather than one, because we traditionally, on a normal year, if you even you have to take last year out of it because that was abnormal. But on a normal year, we miss at least 10 school days due to weather. And so that's 2 full weeks. And so it just makes sense for us to be able to start earlier.
We need a campaign to get our legislators to put that kind of amendment into the law. We've tried.
And really,
We're
it's
talking
3
Wall
districts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really 3 districts that have that much weather. It's Ash, Watauga, and Avery. And we're the ones who seem to get the brunt of every storm that comes.
Let me circle us back a little bit. So we need a motion to proceed with the calendar and appoint Ms. Calhoun to that committee. So we can do that all in one motion there. So I have a motion to that effect.
I make so moved.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Eld.
A second.
Thank you, Ms. Ward. Any other questions or comments?
No, thank you for your explanations.
Mhm.
Appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
All those in favor, raise your hand. All right, looks like you can go and you're appointed.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
We'll
It'll be
look
fun.
forward.
One thing with the agenda that we've got here, I know we're a little early. We did have public comment slated at 5.
But we do not have any public comment today.
Oh, we don't. Okay. So if it's okay with the board, I'd say let's go ahead and bump into updates and discussion items. We've got a new FEMA update, if that's okay with you all. So we do not have public comment anyway. So we'll just keep going. So maintenance and FEMA updates.
Good afternoon, guys. Thanks for having me up again. Just kind of going over what I was submitted in the packet. Feel free to stop me and ask questions as I go along, and I'll be happy to answer the best I can. First item I had there was we're still working through the Ashe County Middle School project abatement where we removed the building from that site. The thought process through that is to control the erosion. Based on the backside of that, it's just the rain eventually will pull the bank apart and the car parking lot. So we are working with an engineering firm out of Johnson City, and they should have us a proposal or multiple options here soon. And I got an email right before Thanksgiving. I didn't make exactly the day on when he'd be getting back, but I'd say in the next week or two, we should have those proposals back on what options we can look at doing for that space over there. Which kind of be wrapping that up. Moving in to the Early Learning Center roof, we are working with Terracon, which is also the company working with middle school. They're in the process of designing some options there. They came out and visited us in the middle of last month and did some site inspections. You guys are kind of becoming old pros at roofs, but they're going through that process now. Again, this would be funded through FEMA.
Will that have to be approved by the state as
And
well?
we'll have to go through DPI, the same kind of process, yeah. So we're learning what the timetable looks at that. Trying to become a little more aware of it myself and staying on our vendor about it as well. Not a whole lot to get to share there, but it is moving along. I did speak to Terracon rep today about trying to drive where those are at, and they are moving along, so.
Oh, well, I got a question for you on there. I was reading the note. Will determine whether FEMA will support the repair. Is there a question that they won't support the repair?
Well, there's the type of repair we're shooting for, they will, odds are, they never guarantee that they will do
Anything?
anything.
Right.
So there's that, there's the area that we're shooting for is a metal roof replacement. That would be a longer, repair or a higher quality repair than putting shingles back
Right.
on, where we spend a lot of labor right now replacing shingles, and we all understand the environment we're living in. So the goal would be to go back to put a metal roof on it. Since I wrote this, there's actually some state funding that might be option, close the gap, but we haven't gotten closer to that. So we plan on finding a roof repair that will go, but it's just kind of managing with FEMA and their language.
Right.
Yeah,
I understand
a
that.
little bit of a dance.
Yeah.
Trying to win for us.
Thank you.
We have to have FEMA's approval of what we put back on there.
If you want them to pay for it,
Yeah.
or part of it.
Just curious. I thought so.
The way they word it is we can do whatever they want, well, whatever we want, but doesn't mean we're gonna
Pay for it.
Right.
They will pay up to what pre-disaster cost.
Right.
So to put it back like it was. And then you have to go back to them for an improved project. And there's no guarantee they'll do the improved project. We're running into that with another project with them, so. It could be, we have to put some money with it to get a new roof if that's the way we choose to go. Or
Which state has some funds that I was actually able to attend the workshop last week. Well, I'm not got the complete deal with details. The state has funding to close some of those gaps still available. And I don't know what those are, but that's definitely an area that I'm gonna start trying to figure out what's available there. That was a hopeful comment. Anything available, I'll go after. Yeah.
Uh,
That's our culture here. Go get the money.
Yeah, let's see. We are working to finalize the bid process, and we think we're pretty close on replacing the building that we pulled down from the middle school to put a metal building there. It's been confirmed we need to move the building that we did move and replace this, the building that we had before. So we're looking at the best option was kind of between the bleachers and the current concession stand, if you guys are familiar with that. With the new FEMA floodplain, it almost came up to the base of the bleacher, and I'll be happy to share the map with you sometime. But FEMA has a new floodplain when the hurricane happened, so the floodplain came over well into the field now. So we kind of were limited in spaces of where we were allowed to put this building. But I think it will be a good spot at the end of the day, and we'll put that, have a roll-up door and a standard, single door access to this building is the goal. And we're working through FEMA with quotes that have been submitted. We've submitted 2 quotes on that. And we feel from the state representative side, we are a pretty good spot for moving that project forward. I think Amanda and Lakin would agree with that. Yeah, they're nodding heads, so I feel pretty good with that project.
Can I ask you a question about the middle school? It's not about the roof, but I had to go over there the other day, and it looked like that the tennis courts are still intact. Did I not hear you say that those would be redone completely?
Yes, they are. And we've signed a contract with middle school roof. Forgive me, I forget the name of the vendor that we have. Their recommendation was to wait to demo based on the timeline when we signed the contract.
Okay.
To push us into the spring for demo. So that will happen. Yes. We haven't set a date on it because we're talking about thawing and then repouring concrete space. So we have set a date for timeline set up, huddle up meetings to happen as we get closer to the spring, where we go in and we're going to do a demo of that tennis court space, put down new courts and resurface and refence. So that funding has all, that funding has all been received.
Yeah.
So we're sitting on, just waiting on pulling the trigger to do the work.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
we have a larger window of not being able to work on exterior construction type projects here than other places. Same thing with the new middle school build.
Yeah, and FEMA's aware of that, and they just ask us to give them an update if there anything that goes later in their we'll climate we have to deal with. Westwood Fire Hydrant, water tower project. We're actually, meeting with our, project team tomorrow morning. We have a group of people that consists of some people from the town of West Jefferson. The fire inspector, Dr. Cox is there, myself, some of our team are there to help, us get a good lens on with, Megan Mattern and Craig, which is the engineering group, trying to make sure that we're scoping this project right. Feel like we're in a good spot to get us to DPI approval and other regulatory approval today, or other regulatory approval that's needed. I talked to Josh about that earlier today and kind of line up where those all need to go. I feel like after our meeting, this will be the
Yeah,
second.
this is Steelman.
Yeah.
Steelman.
Yeah.
Sorry, Josh. Yeah, I apologize.
You had me turning in here. I was going, I didn't talk to you.
Apologize. Yeah, the fire
Fire marshal, yeah.
Yeah, I know Josh.
That
There's a
makes
lot of
more sense.
Joshes in the world.
But, so, yeah, the fire marshal will be working to get those through approval once we get that submitted.
I guess in my mind, I'm not sure what is the solution was. I don't remember. Is there a solution or are we still exploring what we can do?
We feel we have a solution. It was a matter of speccing the right equipment to make sure the operation was best for our team and the town of West Jefferson and compliance with the fire department as well. No, Dr. Cox.
So I just wanted to share, it has not been brought to you, so you're not crazy, you have not seen it yet.
Okay,
So this is new information, so after the meeting tomorrow, we should be closer to what that is. But we don't want to bring something to you and then have a change yet again. So we're getting pretty close to what we think is going to work. And we've appropriated some funding for what's that? But it's not going to be enough. So we want to get it as close as possible to make sure that the fix is going to take care of it. So that's what you guys, you're not crazy, you haven't seen it yet, but it's because they've been back and forth with the engineers and the fire marshal and the town of West Jefferson.
Yeah, we've had two draft designs with different size tanks, different size pumps to make sure we're ensuring the best success for all kinds of different situations that are incoming. So we can make sure that it's going to work appropriately. We've talked about the weather.
We've thought about drinking water versus the other water that sits there in the tank. I mean, it's complicated.
Yeah, as opposed to explaining every change to you, our plan will be to share what the new design, what the proposed design will look like when it's completed. If you really want to come down, I guess.
And then we have to go through the whole bid process too, before we even know how much that's gonna cost us. So we'll put it out for bid, with your all's blessing, and then bring those back to you, once we have an idea.
Is that pot of money you were talking about? Can we apply it to this?
No.
That was just for $50. That's good. I mean, I do think that we are moving in a good direction with the water tower project. I do think that's, and the group has been very vocal through email about trying to move things along. And I talked to Randy from Craig and Marin this morning. We have a rough thought, but it's just a matter of trying to see how it moves through compliance and sign off and the boards that it hits through too. So my last, or not the last, roof replacement again, talking with Stu. The DPI actually ended up having 2 hits. So it did through one pocket of engineers came back for review and then actually ended up going through another pocket of engineers. And when I talked with Stu this morning, he said he should be submitting to their final draft. Well, hopefully another final review for the same group this week. And we should be hearing something pretty soon from DPI to go out to bid on the middle school.
And that would be in January.
Yeah. which is still in the timeline that gives us all the bubble that we heard back when we originally, were talking about.
Chiller was the other one.
Yeah, yeah, more thought. Yeah, and that's definitely on our minds as it's coming down to, we are December 1. I've scheduled a chiller install at the high school for December 29th. We will turn the power off, so it'll all be a little weather dependent. We'll have a lot to do with weather dependent because we can't lose the boilers and lose the heat in the building as well. So we'll hope for some non-snow days.
Right now, ice is predicted for that day.
That's just it.
Well,
Well, that too, but long range forecast, that's what we
we'll
live in.
see.
Green.
We'll have to kick that, step back and punt if we have to move that, but that's where we're at right now. With them, they're scheduled to come and start.
If you can't do it that week, when would be the next opportunity?
Spring break.
Yeah, because we'll have to shut the power off on the building for 2 days. Unfortunately, there's a bigger logistic lift too with moving food out of freezers. You have to move all the food out of the freezers over here and then move them back, which our logistics, Tammy and her teams have been really great about that. And I'd hate to ask them to do it twice, but we wouldn't want to do it twice.
A lot of work.
That's a part of
It is.
a part of
Done it once,
logistics.
it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, Josh helped during the hurricane.
You volunteer, again, won't you?
I'd do it again, yeah.
But
It's too hard to eat. Froze.
Still, we're set up for that pretty well. I think they'll be on site for about a month doing the work. So you'll see them more than just the week there, but they'll be doing the crane pick, the scheduled crane pick that week. After Christmas is what the plan will be, implement the wire, which would be the biggest impacts to the facility itself. But the install will be kind of inside and you'll see people floating around for that for a while. But and then we'll have JCI come back and help with programming, which will help, manage the system better, which will be a technology piece. Other than that, that's everything that I had to update on. If anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Mhm.
We've been very busy. We have a great team too. Yeah, every month, I think more from my team. It's been a good team to work with.
I appreciate the work on the sprinklers out there. I know that's been something that's kind of been a slow go, but it's kind of you're picking it up and the updates are very nice and appreciated on that. And let us know. Some of our commissioners are very adamant about that and we understand we all are, on there, but I think you've had a lot of traction from the get-go, speeding this up. So thank you.
Yes.
Josh, may I say something? So Jody and Greg actually went in between all of this other stuff that they have to do. They went down with several of us to visit the New Valley Cruises School to talk to them about their equipment and how things work and pull and wire and stuff like that, just to have this forward-thinking view on what we might be able to do today versus after the fact. So I appreciate him and the rest of the team who putting that kind of time into that work. So thank you.
Anybody have anything else to come before the board? Don't have anything on my list, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Well, I'll speak at once. All right, thank you, Ms. Dorfman. Do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor?